to set the tone for a productive week, and whatever that productiveness looks like to you. So some of us are looking for a productive week as far as your career, your business. Some people in life, they have some things they want to take care of and they want to make the most of this time. Some people are ready, and this fell in your lap at the right time, and you're like, wow, yes, I'm going to show up 100%, and I want to get the maximum impact that I can out of this challenge, because this is right on time. This is what I've been looking for, and I'm ready to address these things. So what we did is we're priming ourselves, priming our mind, because y'all know that I dibble and dabble in neuroscience as well. But you have to be strategic when it comes to this lane. So what we are doing right now is preparing ourselves for the possibility of some uncomfortableness that may come throughout the week. When we say an amazing week, a lot of times we think of a week that is without flaws, that is without things not going our way. And that's just not being realistic, because sometimes things don't go your way for your good. Yeah. We don't know all things, and we have to trust. When people say trust the process, that's what they're meaning. That is what the intent behind it is. You keep doing what you know to do, and what you don't know, seek out wise counsel and trust the Lord that you will arrive at that location at the right time, and continue to do what you can where you're at. So, what we called this session was, what is it called? It's called Into the Mirror. So it has nothing to do with a physical mirror, because we're not concerned with the outward appearance. We're merely this week looking on the inside. And we're getting away from that facade of, just focusing on the outside, the appearance and everything. And I'm not saying that that's not important. But I want you to look a little bit deeper on the inside, because everything else can be lined up on the outside the way that you thought you wanted it to be, and you still can be unsatisfied. Yeah, I see that a lot. And that is because you're lacking clarity. Some of us are winning as far as like society is concerned. We have our career going on. We have our businesses going on. You have the family that you want. You have all the things on the out exterior that you wanted. Even down to the big one that a lot of people get hung up on is the financial status. You have all those things going for you, and you're still not where you want to be. That's because you're lacking clarity. You just basically did like a check-off list. You have all those things, but you don't know what to do with them. You thought that was going to fix the issue. No. Those things are nice. Those things are great. Nothing wrong with having them. However, you need to have some intention behind the things that you do. There's something that you are avoiding that you need to pay attention to, and then everything will start to flow, and that's just such a beautiful thing, y'all. It reminds me of, we all have times in our life where we felt something, and you will never forget that. And the one that comes to my mind, closest to the age that I am right now, is with this feeling that I'm talking about that you'll receive when you get the clarity on what you seek, is when my mental health meds kicked in and actually started working the way that the prescriber intended them to, because it's a therapeutic effect. So it's going to take about 3 weeks for it to actually start working. And this was my first time trying, right? So when it actually kicked in, and I woke up the first day without constant anxiety, it was bliss. I was like, that's why I'm looking at people like, I know we have our concerns, and that's your choice on those who won't even attempt to use medicine. But as a nurse, that's another topic for another day. However, I believe in medicine as well as therapy, as well as prayer. They all can coexist. But when I arrived at that point, I was like, so this is how everybody else has been feeling all this time? like, they haven't been on pins and needles like all the time. They haven't had like the feeling that something bad is going to happen, the feeling that you're supposed to be somewhere else, the feeling that what are they saying, or I just messed up the last conversation, all of those things. They don't feel like that all the time. And then what that clarity provided, was it provided me an understanding on what maybe some of the other people had said to me, about me, and how I've been feeling about different situations. And I'm like, that's what was missing. That's what was wrong. And with me having that clarity, it provided me the opportunity to be able to start working on the things that I thought that I needed to be working on at that time. And I had tried, but I was not successful. And that's because I didn't take the time to, or didn't know. So you don't know what you don't know. Didn't know that I needed to address this other thing. So that is the experience that when you arrive at the clarity, regardless of what you're seeking, that's the experience that you will have for a moment. And it will feel so good. And what it will do is it will set you up to continue this process throughout the rest of your life on everything that you work with. So what that means is that you will not be aimlessly walking around in the dark, bumping your head, just doing things out of habit, doing things out of impulse, doing things out of what somebody else said. You will be doing everything with intention. So that's one of the reasons that we did the exercise, to give you a quick view of some of the things we talked about. And this was a bonus. This is not even included in the challenge. So if you are not inside of the group or join the challenge, click the link that's going to be below and get in there. And if you're already in there, cruise around, look through the things, and there are some replays there. The handout is there, and there's opportunities to upgrade, all that type things. So you can even comment and talk about what you came, if you feel okay to do it. And that's what I mean by that. We have come to, it is great for us to share things. It is great. Y'all see me up here sharing candidly, like my mental health journey, because I have healed from that. The thing is, you don't share with other people things that is going to make you feel the way that you used to feel, or the way that you're trying not to feel. Like if you're struggling with a relationship or whatever, you don't share that with the public, because they're going to come in and criticize. There are people that's going to come in and criticize my mental health journey, my coaching, my everything, my appearance. I'm at a point now to where it won't bother me. I'm at that point where, like, whatever. And what I mean by it won't bother me, some of the statements that they say, that's why sometimes if y'all drop comments, it takes me a while to get back to it, because I have made it my business to not really be honed in on the comments unless I'm in one of my private groups of people that have been pre-vetted, that really are have shown that they deserve my attention. Everybody and everything does not deserve your attention. No, they do not deserve to have access to you. That is one of the first things that I do when I work with people. We look at, especially when they're saying they don't have enough time, or they're feeling some type of way and they need it to stop right now. We look at what's going on. I look at who and what has access to them, and we cut it down. Shoot. That's what we're going to do. We're going to eliminate all of the unnecessary noise. But I would discourage you guys from sharing anything inside of the group, the free group anyway. When we get to the paid, if you're in one of the paid opportunities, it's more levels of safety there. But the free group is safe to an extent. But there's always the odd chance that there's going to be somebody in there that has ill intent. And once we identify those individuals, they'll be removed. Some of you will notice that you've been removed because of the fact that you didn't either answer the questions, or you don't have a picture, you don't have a name. You have an alias, and nobody knows who you are. So, anyway, because we're creating a safe space. You are more than welcome to come in at another time, but everything that I do, I want people to feel safe. I want them to associate that with me. Non-judgmental in the sense of what I mean with that is meaning that righteous judgment. Meaning that we will, when we're in our private sessions, you're going to be called out on that because of what you said you wanted to do. That's the only way that you're going to achieve what you're after. Anyway, so what we did was we took a few moments, and one of the things that we did is we ran through a handout. If you want the handout, get in the free group and download it. So we started out by focusing on what we're really looking at. So the purpose of this exercise was to prepare them for the challenge that's coming up. And it encourages you to make maybe you only need 5 to 10 minutes to really do this, depending on how in depth you want to go with it. But encourage them to take a deep breath and allow themselves to write freely. So you want to make sure that you're in a space where you can write without somebody looking over your shoulder, looking at what you're writing, because this is for your eyes and your eyes only. So the 3 areas that I wanted them to consider was where they are feeling stuck. If you know where they are feeling stuck emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, and note that on the side. And if you want to go a little step further, like I guided them through yesterday, note the 3 areas that you're feeling stuck at. If you know. If you don't know, you can actually write, I don't know, I'm unsure. And we move on. And then just a reminder, it isn't about blame, it's about clarity. You cannot fix what you will not address. That's what we're doing here. So, and I shouldn't have used the word fix, because what you're not coming to this challenge to do is to fix you. We are coming to address a concern. We're going to provide clarity on that concern. You're not broken. So, next, ask them what part of you is going to get you to commit. What part of you are you ready to see without judgment? So this gets you ready for what we're going to be doing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so you don't spend your challenge time figuring out what you want to address. So kind of do that today if you haven't already. And so I'm going to give you one prompt that we went over last night, and then I'm going to fast forward, and because the replay is in the group, go to the free group and watch the replay, and then do your worksheet. That's like 5 prompts. And really, because it's all about priming. So you're going to note, I keep avoiding blank because of blank. The area that I'm going to focus on is going to be mentally. Yours doesn't have to be, but it's going to be mentally. That's the one that I circled that I choose. And why I chose that is because I've had a change in my anxiety pattern that's been going on for a while. That's most likely related to menopause. However, I put on there, I keep avoiding the change in my anxiety because it may cause me to pull back. And what I mean by that is I keep avoiding it because it may cause me to have to pull back in my businesses. And right now I'm in campaign mode. I have things set out. I have my schedule. We're going 100%, as y'all can see. But I have not addressed it and kept avoiding it because it may cause me to have to cancel some things, and I don't want to. So that's the one that I'm ready to sit with this week. Why? Because the only thing I'm going to be doing is hurting myself. So that doesn't necessarily mean if I don't address the change, that don't mean it's not going to exist. That doesn't mean that it's going to go away on its own. If anything, it's going to get worse. Because when we know how anxiety works, or if you don't, me not addressing that is going to create more anxiety. Because what is anxiety? It's worrying about something that you don't want to happen. So that's what I would be setting myself up to do. I'm going to share the next one because it just makes sense. So next one, you're required to just be honest with yourself. And if I'm honest, I thought blank would fix blank. So obviously, just to continue on, if I'm honest, I thought my current regimen and meds would fix my anxiety. To give you a little bit of background on this, for those of you who struggle with it, there is no one fix all for all time when it comes to mental health. That does not exist. When it comes to mental health, regardless of what kind of coping skill you're using or what medication you are on, as you evolve, your symptoms may evolve. That doesn't mean necessarily that what you're doing is not working. You may need to just make a subtle change. You may need to add a different medication. You may have outgrown that. Or this may just be for an appointed time. But that decision is not for us to make. That decision is for the professionals to make for us. So you're going to bring your concerns to your therapist, to your psychiatrist or NP. They can work with you. I really love to see psychiatric NPs because they have more a personable approach. But they can work with you on that. But yeah, so that is what I'm being honest about. The fact that the possibility that I may need to change some things. And if you have ever took any medication for mental health, you know if it's not broke, we don't fix it. So with me changing that, why would I be resistant to change in that area? One, I've already identified that if my psychiatrist tells me that, okay, you're doing too much, that's what's going on, I have a choice to make. Either I'm going to continue upon this path and do whatever recommendations that she mentions, like take my PRN. I don't have to take my PRN medication daily. So, or take it ahead of time like I did in the past when I know I'm going to have like a more stressful day. Like for an example, if I'm doing an event, I'm going to go ahead and pop one. That's just how I try to pre-medicate myself, and it works. But at this point in time, I've gotten so good at it that I can pinpoint what days and what times that I'm going to have these episodes. But lately, they've been coming out of nowhere. And just to give you a little bit of background of those of you who may be perimenopause, menopausal, post, whatever, it messes with your emotions and stuff as well. So you may don't put it in a box and say, oh, it's just menopause. Consult your provider about it and see what they recommend you do. Some of them are just going to recommend, some of the coping skills that they're sharing on TikTok and here on Facebook and stuff like that. But this is going to be for a longer period of time. It's going to be a little different, maybe more intense, and it's not going to make sense. So anyway, I've addressed that. And why I wouldn't want to do the med changing is because it's going to make me feel uncomfortable. Because I've got a comfort level when it comes to my symptoms. I've identified what my tolerance level is. If you haven't, then you need to note that. So what I can do about this far is the truth I need to face is that maybe it's time for me to change something. That's the truth that I'm going to face. Maybe that it's time for me to change something. That's going to be a lot of the truths that we are all facing. Maybe it's time that we change something. What we are doing is identifying that what we have been doing this far may not be working. And then it may be. But we're gonna accept that truth and identify it may not be working anymore. It may be time for a change. Did I say it's time to change something? I didn't say that, did I? I said the truth that I need to face is that maybe it's time for me to change something. Then the next brave thing I can do with this truth is, how am I gonna know? How am I gonna know that it's time for a change, or that whatever your truth is on the above statement is you're gonna have to track it. You're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to look at the evidence. You're going to have to look at the data. That's the only way you're going to know. We don't go off of feelings, emotions, and whatever somebody is saying to you. You're going to look at the facts when you work with me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to track my anxiety over at least the next week. If it's good over the next week, I'm going to extend that and do it over the next 2 weeks, so that I could bring it with me when I talk to my doctor, or if I decide to schedule an appointment before we meet. But we're going to be meeting soon, so I'm probably going to do that. And it's not to a extent of where I can't function or I'm very uncomfortable. It's not affecting my livelihood or my daily activities. If whatever you are facing in this mirror this week is affecting the activities of your daily life, preventing you from functioning the way that you need to, you definitely need to upgrade and get the Courageous Clarity Journal. And you definitely are going to need to have the one-on-one session that those people have after this challenge is over. So, but throughout the challenge, this is just a preview and, like I said, a priming exercise to get our juices flowing and to set, you're like, how did that set a productive tone for my week? Me identifying what I need to address and that I have an issue with something. You address the elephant in the room, so now you can focus on what you need to do. That's how. You identified also that in spite of the elephant in the room, you can have an amazing week anyway. But I cannot encourage you guys enough. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about the number of people that have registered already. And this is very important in this time, because if you look, everywhere you look, people are talking about uncertain times, uncertain times, uncertain times. We're going to talk about that as well in there. And thank you guys for your time and attention as well. If you are in the group, then just look out for me to pop in. And for those of you who have upgraded to VIP, watch your emails, because you're going to be released the PDF version for week 1. Remember, because your journal is going to arrive after the challenge, so we're going to give you the PDF version for week 1, so you'll have it in your hand. And there's going to be information on how you book your one-on-one session in that same email. But thank you guys for your time, attention, support. If you are interested, get in the free challenge. The challenge is free. Then if you know somebody that would benefit from this, share the video. I'm going to include the link where they can get inside of the free group. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.